Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into something that really feels like a technological battlefield. I mean, the intense, high-stakes competition happening right now for AI supremacy.
It really is. It's not just about, who has the fastest chips or the smartest code.
No, it's companies battling for market share, for the best minds, and, well, fundamentally shaping the future of AI itself.
Absolutely. And it's a fascinating, really dynamic landscape. To help us sort of navigate it, we can use a framework that Sam Altman from OpenAI has really popularized.
Ah, the missionaries versus mercenaries
It's
idea.
exactly that dichotomy.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. So on one side, you've got the missionaries, like OpenAI, right? Organizations driven by a big picture, a long-term transformative vision for AI.
Right. They're focused on a sort of grander cause, scientific discovery, maybe profound societal impact. That's the idea, anyway.
They believe that this shared purpose, this mission, fosters deeper loyalty and ultimately more breakthrough innovation.
Precisely. Then on the other side, you have the mercenaries. And these are, well, often primarily motivated by more immediate financial incentives.
Characterized by quick decisions, throwing resources around, fast, aggressive talent hunting,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
You got it. Swift, decisive, resource heavy.
Okay. And speaking of aggressive strategies, our deep dive today is really putting Meta under the microscope.
Definitely.
They've taken a really bold approach in this AI race, especially, it seems, when it comes to grabbing top talent. So this brings up a really central question for us, I think. Can that purpose-driven focus, the OpenAI model, can it actually hold its own against the sheer financial firepower of a giant like Meta?
That's the core question. Our goal today is really to dissect Meta's strategy, look at how relevant this whole missionary versus mercenary debate actually is right now on the ground in AI.
And think about the longer-term implications for the whole industry, yeah.
Yeah, for the whole industry. We'll weigh the strengths, the challenges of both Meta and OpenAI, and reflect on, what the future of AI looks like, especially that balance between, let's say, grand purpose and just plain old economic resources.
Okay, so let's get into Meta's playbook then. It seems pretty clear Zuckerberg and his team realized they were maybe a bit behind in the race for AGI, artificial general intelligence.
Right, they saw the gap.
And they responded with what you can only call an all-in commitment. Their strategy feels like a textbook mercenary move, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mainly focused on attracting the absolute best AI talent with, well, frankly, unparalleled compensation.
It's the sheer scale that's just, wow. Reports talk about multi-million-dollar packages. We're talking salary stock, huge bonuses, all to lure top researchers away from competitors.
Yeah, poaching, basically.
Essentially. And it's not just talent. They've poured immense capital into infrastructure, too, setting up Meta superintelligence labs to fast-track advanced AI, investing massively in data centers packed with the latest GPUs.
It's an enormous financial commitment, no question. But here's the intriguing part, isn't it? Despite all that money, all that top talent flowing in, their big model, Llama 4, well, reports suggest it hasn't quite matched the reasoning capabilities of models like Claude 4 or maybe the multimodal stuff in Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Is there a disconnect there? Does it suggest maybe a limit to what just throwing money at the problem can achieve in this field?
It really does raise a vital question, I think, about how effective a purely mercenary approach can be in such a complex field, a field that's inherently collaborative, really.
Right.
It seems like maybe it's not just that money isn't enough. Perhaps it's that for the real cutting-edge AI stuff, the kind of deep collaboration, the long-term thinking, the sometimes counterintuitive leaps you need, maybe those are more often born from a shared, passionate purpose, rather than just a transactional talent model.
Interesting. Okay, so let's contrast that with OpenAI, often held up as the archetype of the missionary organization.
Yeah, under Sam Altman, they really position themselves as guided by this singular mission, advancing human scientific discovery through AI, benefiting all humanity. That's the pitch.
And Altman often argues, quite forcefully, that a culture built on that kind of purpose creates deep loyalty, real innovation. He believes missionaries ultimately win because they're working for something bigger than just a paycheck.
And you have to say that narrative has resonated. Within the tech world, definitely. OpenAI has maintained a significant edge with models like GPT-4o. And that mission-driven approach, it certainly helps them attract researchers who are maybe more idealistic, who genuinely prioritize long-term impact over the immediate cash grab.
So given these two sort of distinct philosophies, it really forces the question, can purpose genuinely overcome massive financial incentives, especially in a market where top AI talent is just incredibly scarce and the demand is through the roof?
Both approaches clearly have their strengths and weaknesses, right?
Absolutely.
If you look at the missionary approach, the plus sides seem to be things like cultural cohesion, promoting deep collaboration, fostering loyalty. That can lead to sustained innovation, maybe even exponential leaps.
And they attract that specific kind of talent, the idealists looking to make a dent in the universe, so to speak, which often means a more focused, maybe more durable, long-term strategy.
But then you look at the mercenary approach. It brings undeniable force. High pay does let you rapidly acquire elite experts, build massive teams fast.
No doubt. And those huge investments in R&D and infrastructure, they can accelerate technical progress incredibly quickly, compress timelines.
And maybe there's an agility advantage, too. Without being locked into one single rigid mission, a company like Meta can potentially pivot its strategy faster, respond to new opportunities or priorities.
True. But each strategy has its downsides, its vulnerabilities.
For sure. Missionaries, while focused, can sometimes be slower to scale up. Maybe their reliance on a very specific culture could even limit the diversity of talent they attract, create blind spots.
Plausible. And for the mercenaries.
Well, the irony is that very lack of a unifying mission could actually create misalignment within teams. It might hinder the kind of really deep, long-term innovation that needs sustained commitment, not just short bursts.
And loyalty is trickier, right? High pay doesn't always guarantee someone sticks around. They can always jump ship for the next, even bigger offer. Retention becomes a constant battle.
Exactly. A constant challenge.
This competition also has pretty profound implications beyond just the tech breakthroughs, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Meta, for example, with its rapid deployment, open sourcing models, they face scrutiny over things like, well, potential unauthorized use of training data, or how their models might be used without enough safety checks.
It's that classic speed versus control trade-off, perhaps.
Yeah. And even OpenAI, despite presenting itself as the missionary, they've had their own challenges.
The move towards a more commercial focus, the internal debates about leadership and safety commitment, it's led people to ask if they're maybe diluting their original purpose, that founding narrative.
So, at the end of the day, both approaches have to constantly juggle advancing the tech with responsible deployment ethical questions. They need to keep public trust, navigate future regulations. It's complex for everyone.
Incredibly complex.
So after this deep dive, where do we land? Will the missionaries just definitively beat the mercenaries in this AI war?
Well, based on everything we've looked at, it really doesn't seem like there's a simple yes or no answer.
It rarely is that simple.
Rarely. Meta, with its just massive financial clout, has clearly shown it can mobilize huge resources and attract top talent incredibly quickly. Speed is definitely on their side in some ways, but its potential long-term impact might be constrained by that very mercenary nature. Maybe a lack of a really cohesive, unifying direction could hold it back from certain kinds of breakthroughs.
Okay, and conversely, OpenAI.
Powered by that clear mission.
It clearly fosters loyalty, drives real innovation. You see that.
Yeah.
But they face this huge ongoing challenge, competing with the sheer overwhelming resources that giants like Meta can just throw at the problem. It's a constant battle against scale.
It seems increasingly likely that ultimate success, whatever success means in this AI war, will probably belong to companies that figure out how to integrate both. A powerful, inspiring purpose, plus top-tier talent, plus robust, scalable infrastructure.
So the winning formula isn't purely one or the other.
Probably not. The organizations that can effectively fuse that inspiring vision with enough resources and, crucially, smart execution, they're likely the ones who will lead the charge.
Right. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening and for the broader future of AI?
Well, beyond just asking which company wins this race, maybe the deeper question is who ultimately gets to define the ethical guardrails, the technological direction of AI for all of us.
That's a powerful thought. This competition isn't just about speed or who's got the smartest algorithm.
No. At its heart, it's profoundly about responsibility. It's about who gets to shape the future itself. And that's something worth keeping a very close eye on.